Hi, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, December 17th, 2023. I want to give you a quick walkthrough of this week's lesson. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the pages of the lesson plan. So if you need to reference it, you can see it in this video. So this is page 1. And here is page 2 if you want to pause it to look at it. And page 3 is just the snippet about dismissal. All right, so now that you've seen all 3 pages, and you can pause it if you want to read them more closely, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough. So most of our things are similar to previous weeks. I have had to make a couple adjustments to the lesson plan, so I'm going to walk you through those. This is our 3rd week of Advent. The focus is on joy. We're going to be doing Story 80, the birth of Jesus, which focuses on Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 38. So when you come in, things are as usual. They're going to just choose a center to do at their table. And so the centers are, if you haven't been here before, the centers are here. The kids kind of know how that works. You can set them out at the tables beforehand if you would prefer, or you can let kids as they come in choose one center per table, and then they choose the table that they want to stay at. So they play at those centers until 10:10. At that point, it is time for shared worship. So we're going to clean up the center activities. The kids know that their table must be completely cleaned up. They've got to check the floor around them. Everything must be completely cleaned up. And then we dismiss by grade levels, starting with kindergarten, and then moving up all the way through our 5th graders to the worship area, which, excuse my organizing mess, is right over here. So just kind of sitting in front of the TV. We want the younger kids in the front since they will be shorter so that they can see the TV. It is important that when you get here that one person gets that TV on and ready. The songs that we're going to do this week are our videos for Away in a Manger and Angels We Have Heard on High. Those are going to be the songs that our children's choir are going to sing. We have a recording with Kayla singing it. So if our internet is out on the TV, I will also send it to you through text, so we can just listen to the vocals through that link on a phone. But hopefully we'll be able to access those YouTube videos that I have saved on our playlist. If you have not done it before, you just go to the YouTube app. You're going to click on the Lindsay channel, select the playlist Oaks, Oaks Kids or Oaks, and then you'll see the songs on the playlist there. So at that point after worship, our 3rd through 5th graders will go upstairs. So if you're teaching 3rd through 5th grade, you're going to take the yellow bag that is right here. It's going to have your copies of your lesson plans, as well as a few of the completed Advent craft that we started 2 weeks ago. Most of the kids are already upstairs in the classroom, but I found a few that were downstairs. So those ones will need to be carried up to the room. They're in the yellow bag. So just grab your lesson plans and that from out of there. All the other materials you need, which is just the other completed crafts and the Bible verse memory sheets and the Sharpies are already up there. So, and also take your cell phones with the volume on so that you know when it is time to return downstairs. So when you get into your separate classrooms, you're going to do memory verse, same as usual. This week we are just writing where it's at in the Bible, Matthew 1:21. Have them go over that multiple times, maybe let a few friends come up and lead the entire group. They love to do that, so just remind them that next Sunday, if they are in the children's choir, they're doing the memory verse. And so they need to have it memorized by next Sunday. And so they want to really be working on that and focusing on that. From that, this is new for December. We're focusing on Advent and prayer. So if you're in K2, you have like a window decal Advent wreath. If you're upstairs, you have a battery powered one. So downstairs, I'm going to show you. You already have your 2 candles lit for hope and peace. And so this week you're going to add joy. So you're going to focus on joy and talk to the kids about what it means to have joy in the Advent season. Is it just the joy of presents? Or what is this deeper joy that comes from the upcoming birth of Jesus? So I left the flame and tape right there. So you can choose a student to go over and tape that flame on. And that is kind of it for downstairs for Advent. If you are upstairs, you have battery powered candles. The batteries are already preloaded for the first 3 candles. So you just press the on button on that remote control and it turns them on. Please make sure to turn them off at the end of class because otherwise the batteries will be dead by next week. So, going to light those candles, talk about joy, the joy that we find in Christ's birth. And then we're going to move into not prayer requests, but Taco's prayer strategy. We've been focusing on this since August. So maybe talk to them about what Tacos means. It means thankfulness, adoration, confession, others, and self, the last two being prayer request piece. Don't take all of the examples from the whole group because you'll be there all day. Just take maybe 1 to 3 things under each one. 2 to 3 things that we are thankful for this week, that we adore God for, that we want to confess. And that one, be sensitive with that. Some kids might, be really eager to share something, or maybe they just say like, I know somebody who told a lie this week or something, and just kind of talk about how like we all struggle with that. That is, we're all going to have things that we need to confess to God every week. And then after they've gone through all of those 5 things, then pray together about it. And the teacher will lead the prayer both upstairs and downstairs for that. And you're going to end with the Lord's Prayer, which if you're downstairs is up in that door for kids to see. So if you're downstairs, I would maybe do this at the tables. So then that way they're not kind of getting antsy during that part. So then we have the memory verse. I'm sorry, this says memory verse lesson. It is not memory verse lesson. It is just our lesson. We're going to be reading Story 80, The Birth of Jesus, on pages 160 and 161 of your Gospel Story Bible. So if you're downstairs, it's in that rolling cart on the top shelf. That bucket has 2 copies of it, one for each teacher. Upstairs, you have the thing that says your lesson supplies, and so you need those books. Upstairs, they share the books. They take turns reading the paragraphs. Downstairs, the teacher just reads it out loud. So after you read that, you can look where it's in the Bible, which is Luke 2, verses 8 through 20. And then they're going to answer the questions, say the memory verse together one more time, and then it is time for the craft. So this is going to change. This is where some changes happen because we had last week, not everyone got a chance to light their candles. So what you're going to see is some kids are going to have orange paint, which means that they lit their candles, lit their Advent fingerprint candles. And some kids won't have that. I made the decision to not have you guys do paint. It's just going to be too crazy with everyone in different places, and I don't want to send home wet paint crafts with kids, and this is the last week. I'm not sending things home on Christmas Eve. So just tell them if your candles aren't lit, no big deal. You can always draw it with an orange Sharpie. You can just leave it alone and take it home as is. So what they are going to do, though, what they all will do is they're going to flip it onto the back. And on the back, they're going to write their memory verse. So all the classrooms have copies of the memory verse of this month. It's 2-sided. It's easier to see on this side. It has the memory verse right there. They also have it on the wall. So it's right there. It's right here. And every classroom has multiple copies, so you can pass them out so kids can hold them. And they're going to just write it right on the back. You can see an example over here on the wall. This is my completed example of how it should look on the back. That's all they're going to do. We're not going to tie ribbon on it. We are not going to try and catch up on paint. They're just going to write their memory verse on the back. Obviously, younger kids are going to take longer to do this. Older kids might fly through it, and that's okay. If they did not get flames, I see here that Molly drew some flames on hers, and so that would be perfectly fine too, just to draw their flames with orange Sharpie or an orange marker, or just leave them blank, and that is perfectly fine too. But no paint, so you guys are getting off easier than the last 2 weeks. Kind of, it says here they're going to attach a ribbon. We're not going to do that. They're just going to write their memory verse on the back. If they were absent and they don't have a snowflake, that's just kind of where they're at. We won't be catching up today. So if they don't have a snowflake at all, they can take a memory verse sheet and they can do that. There are no extra snowflakes. We had 80 of them and they are all gone. So we're just going to kind of call it what it is, and it's done at that point. So if they weren't here the last 2 weeks and don't have a snowflake, they can just have a memory verse sheet instead. If they finish early, the choices to do upstairs in the hallway right in front of the girls' classroom upstairs, there are a bunch of board games and card games. They are welcome to take a game and to play with friends. It must be cleaned up neatly and put back where they found it, just like how they found it when they are done. If they are downstairs and they finish early, they can choose a center activity to do at a table while they're waiting, or you can choose to watch a YouTube video. I will save one that is about the birth of Christ on our YouTube channel so they can watch that instead. And dismissal is same as usual. If you're upstairs, be watching for that text when it's time to come back downstairs. And that's it. I'm sorry that the video is long this week. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew kind of the things that are happening with the craft. We appreciate you guys so much. It's making, such a huge difference in the lives of these kids, and we just appreciate you so much. Thank you for serving, and I'll see you on Sunday.